Hey, what up? It's Lex. It is Sunday, August 26th. What's happening? All right, in today's video, I want to go over a quick little weekly recap of my trading week this past week from August, what was the week? August 20th through the 24th. A lot of great stuff has been happening in the stock market. If you've been following or if you're a trader, you know that this week most of the indexes hit all-time highs in the stock market. This past Wednesday marked the longest-running bull market in the history of the stock market, with 9.5 years running of the bull market. Large caps have been hitting new all-time highs. I think 68% of stocks in the S&P 500 beat their earnings this past earnings season. And the big thing that I want to talk about is the booming explosion in the legal cannabis industry that is just taking off like a rocket. And that is what I've mainly been focusing on the past 2 weeks with trading, is the cannabis stocks, mostly Canadian. Because if you've been following this, you know that legalization across the board in Canada is going to be implemented October 17th. So there's a lot of big plays, and there's starting to get some action with M&A, merger and acquisition. So that's what I want to go over, because that's been the focus of my plays past 2 weeks. And fortunately, I was able to capture about $1,100 in profits just this past week, in about four days, from trading just, I think, 3 or 4 stocks that I want to go over. So let's just begin. So the big thing that hit off the cannabis explosion was CGC, Canopy Growth. And if you follow me on Twitter, you will know that I mentioned this about 2 weeks ago. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see, August 15th. Right here, August 15th. Today will go down in history as the official beginning of the Great Marijuana Rally. Now, this is what happened. August 15th, Constellation Brands, which is a major conglomerate of beverages, alcoholic beverages, invested $4 billion in Canopy Growth, which is a Canadian marijuana company. They do medicinal, they do edibles, they do distribution. And this was the big mover that kind of started the spark to the fire of the rest of the stocks that I'm going to talk about. With that initial $4 billion investment, Canopy Growth, if we look at the daily chart, exploded. This was the first day of the news, August 15th. This red candle, it shot up from $24 close the previous day all the way to $31. That was like about an 8%, 14% gain on the day, depending on where you traded it. Now, there was a ton of profit takers the next day, and it actually came down, and that's actually where I actually bought it. I waited for the first dip because I knew there was going to be a huge sell-off. And I was trading this with options, not stocks, just because I like to get a little leverage on my options, and it gives me a little more wiggle room to scale in and swing trade it, and I'm glad I did. My only regret is that I sold this way too early, because if you look at this chart, after this news on that Friday, it's been going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trading days, and it's up over 33%. Now, if you're trading options, that is a lot of money. And if I look at my entry point here, when I first bought it, let's see, I had 4, 5, and 10. I think I had about 10 contracts long. Different calls, 40, 35, for the September calls. And I actually ended up making pretty good money on that, a little over $400, but I sold it way too early. I was selling into strength, I think the third day of the news, this is where I bought it. You can actually see this, my TNA. When it dipped below the 30-minute opening range, and I saw this bottom doji here, and if you look at the stochastics, it's under 20, and if you look at the RSI, it's facing almost 30. That's where I started accumulating. and I'm glad I did because this was a nice steady channel range breaking back into the 30-minute opening range. And then the next day, we had a little sell-off. Little sell-off, and I actually bought more. I added 5 more, and then it just exploded. It took out the previous day's highs and lows, and from there it just went on and on again. I actually sold too early on the day after Thursday. I sold on that Friday in the afternoon. I was actually working in the studio. That's why I wasn't paying attention to it. But it was cool. I got to make some profits. I had a 29% gain. And after that, over the weekend, there was some news about it. CNBC was covering it, and it was actually in a Netflix short program on marijuana over the weekend, which was crazy that this was on Netflix. And they were talking about cannabis growth and Constellation Brands. So that was the first big spark, because once that came out and you see a major player like Constellation Brands investing $4 billion, which is like 50% of its premium at the time of the stock price, now you start to think to yourself, this player is making a big stake in the company. There's probably going to be some other players that are probably want to start investing in more marijuana companies now that it's going to be legalized in Canada. Now, outside of Canada, let's talk about the United States. The United States now is also following this trend. You have 9 states in America that have it legalized it for recreational use, and you have 30 states that have legalized it for medicinal purposes. Okay, so you're talking a big influx of money that's going to be coming in, where the state is going to be making a ton of money off taxing marijuana. So bottom line is America is going to become a lot more wealthy because of increased marijuana sales for recreational use and medicinal purposes. Okay, and if you look at history, you have a legal market of around, I think it's around $7 billion that will probably grow more, obviously, now that this is being legalized. And you have an illegal market of sales, I think in 2016, if my stats are right, illegal pot sales were around 7 billion. I'm sorry, illegal pot sales were around 50 billion in the United States. Legal sales were 7 billion. You're going to start seeing a flip on that because it's becoming legalized. There's going to be more outlets to buy it, and the black market is going to go down because there's going to be more competition legally. It's going to be easier, it's going to be safer, and probably cheaper, and you're going to be getting better product than street market product and street market value. So you're going to see this shift in revenue of marijuana sales. On top of that, there's going to be less people incarcerated for having weed on them, which is ridiculous. Getting incarcerating and paying for people to go to jail because they have marijuana on them, which is less money from the state to provide for prisons, provide for courts, lawyers, and all that stupid bullshit. So bottom line is the medical marijuana industry and legal recreational marijuana industry is going to be a huge boom. You got to think of this like the 30s with Prohibition. Once alcohol became back into the picture and legalized, there was a huge increase of sales of alcohol. It's going to be the same exact thing. Whether you like marijuana or not, if you want to make money in the stock market investing, you need to do your research and find some of these things, because this is going to be the next year. It's going to be huge. So that is my first play that started off CGC. I didn't make as much money on that. I left a lot of money on the table. However, my next big play that I want to go over is Cronos Group. And I actually bought this, I think, the same day after CGC. This is also a Canadian company, marijuana company that's a little cheaper than CGC. And now there's rumors that Diageo, which owns I think Corona and a couple other beverages, another alcoholic beverage company, that is going to be looking to get into the game, and they're looking at 3 companies: Aurora, Tilray, and Cronos Group. And because of that news, Cronos Group spiked huge this past week on the news Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I was swing trading this. Let's take a look at the chart. I was swinging this Wednesday and Friday. I originally got in on Wednesday. Let's take a look here. Where did I get this? These are all my trades in Robinhood. CRON spot, August 1st, canceled. My first buy. Let's see. Yeah, right here. Yeah, 5 contracts. I had at 40 cents was the option for the $10 call expiring September 21st. And I was swinging this. I bought 5, then I bought 1, same price, bought another one, 40. See another one, bought 3 more at 40. I was just accumulating. Eventually, I did end up selling it on Thursday. Friday's when I sold it. Yeah, Friday's when I sold it. I made $365, 70% gain. I also had 6 on the October calls where I made 120. And I'm actually long again over the weekend. I'm going to get to that too. But let's take a look at the chart. I want to show you this chart. It's very predictable. This is Wednesday when the news came out, and you can see every morning there's been a sell-off, and then it comes back into the 30-minute opening range. And if you see this, my TNA, you see a nice swing of the bullish flag breakout, and I love this pattern. It is a swing trade. You got to be patient on it, but if you're accumulating the options, especially through Robinhood because you have no commissions, it's kind of easy to sit back and just be patient and watch the chart, watch your TNA and your support and resistance, but it's always higher highs and higher lows. It's very predictable. You have a 3-day consolidation, then boom, breaks out up to the next day, 3-day, 2-day consolidation, bullish flag breakout, boom, it broke out. And in between there, you can see bullish flag breakouts. Look at this Friday. There's a bullish flag breakout within a bullish flag breakout swing trade right here. From this 3-day bullish flag breakout, you have another one, bullish flag breakout at the end of the day. I was holding from Wednesday into Thursday, and I sold this pop on Friday. That's where I made a nice $400 trade on CRON. And then I waited for a dip, like I usually been doing, and I bought at the end of the day, where my TA alerted me that this was probably going to break out to the upside. You were already over the 30-minute OR at the beginning of the day between 9:30 and 10. The green line represents the average true value of that 30-minute opening range. Once it bounced off this a couple times, you see a little downtrend range of the flag. And around 3 p.m. power hour is when I bought. I only bought 2. I'm going to scale into this, and then after hours, this thing went up another $1. So I'm already up on that. I'm probably going to sell Monday into the morning spike just because, I don't know. I got to test it out. I've been selling way too early. I've been selling pretty much into the breakouts in the morning and just taking profits and then waiting for a dip and buying back in. Now you might ask, like, you know, why don't you just hold this for like a week, 2 weeks, or months? And my answer is I am a swing trader. I'm a day trader. I build my account exponentially. I take profits. You know, I took a $400 profit on Friday, like at 9:31. Like it was an 86% gain. I can't really complain about that. If I held longer, maybe I'll make another $100, $200, but whatever. There's tons of other plays out there. And you can always dip by and get back in. So I don't regret selling Friday and making that $400 for the 84% gain. Now, if we look at the daily chart of some of these tickers, let's go here. They're starting to get a little overextended. CGC, which is the first play, if we look at the TD sequential, when it initially broke out, was right here, this August 15th. And then you had a 2-day rest period, and then boom, it popped up. We're actually on day 8 of the sequential. We probably have one more day pop Monday, and then you probably see some profit taking because this is up big time. So I'm not going to be buying. I'm not going to be a buyer here. I'm going to wait until it pulls back, and then another price flip. That being said, this could go higher because, you know, when you go to all-time new highs, there's a good chance that it's going to go higher. That's CGC. Let's take a look at the other ones. Tilray, TROY. Now this was an IPO back in July, which is a U.S.